we are going to talk about how to integrate lines into the text. We are going to create some line-based text. Yeah, so remember last class we talked about blended tool, right? So we use blended lines to build the birds, yes, and other object. So today we are going to continue with the blend tools. So first, you may check your workspace. If your workspace is not include these tools, you are going to Windows, Workspace, and Reset Essential Classic. Then you will see all the tools are displayed like this. Yeah. So first we're going to just use ellipse tool, and we're going to create the outline of the. We're going to keep the outline of the ellipse. So if your ellipse is filled with the color, you may click on this small red mark here, so to deselect. So we only keep the outline. The next, make sure it's selected. We go to the object. We go to the repeat radio. Yeah, so if you click this circle and drag, you can see it just turns into a flower like this, right? So the thing we're going to do is we're going to the object and we will expand it. Expand it means you will turn the flower into a vector shape, right? So because we did some whenever we put an effect on elements, it's not a vector art anymore. So if you go to the direct selection tool, you'll find you cannot click it, right? And you can find that it's pretty hard for you to get the anchor point. But vector art means here is a shape. It's a vector art, means you can use any tools to modify the anchor point. Yes, so you can use a curvature tool to change the lines. You can use the direct selection tool to change anchor point. You can add an anchor point and do some modification here. Yeah, so right now the flower is not a vector art, so you may not use the direct selection tool to get the anchor point. So right now we are going to expand it. Okay, so now it becomes a vector art. So you may use the you can find that you may use the direct selection tool to change the anchor point or change the shapes for each one of them. You can see all the anchor point. Yeah, so whenever you find you cannot make changes on the elements, you will always go to the object and expand it. So now let's copy and Command C, Command F, which means copy and paste to front. So then Option Shift, drag it towards the center point. Then let's select everything. We're going to the object, blend options. I think probably 15 is okay. So object, blend, make. Yeah, so if you think 15 is not enough, you may always go back and just change the blend options. Yeah, so now I got this flower. So I'm going to apply with a gradient color. So you can click here, or you can click here, or you can go to the window, scroll down, and turn on the gradient. So all the choice can help you to access to the gradient tool. Yeah, so let's double click, select a color, and double click, select another color. So if you want to add the third color, you may place the mouse here and a plus mark will appear. So you click, this is double click, you can add a third color. Yeah, so that's the way you are applying 3 colors to the flower. Yeah, so then I'm going to enter go to the text and enter H. Yeah, so the H now is not a vector art, right? So you can see you cannot change the anchor point. You even can't apply a gradient color to it. So we will go into the object, expand it. Okay, so now the edge, the text turns into a vector art that you can change it in any way you want. Right, so we will place the edge in the here, in some place you like here. Select everything, right click, make clipping mask. So now you see the edge. Inside the edge is the pattern, the line, the pattern of the flowers, which is the edge is filled with some fancy lines. Yeah, let's do that again. Right click, make clipping mask. Yeah. So the edge is filled with the fancy lines inside the flower we just created. So that's a really cute design of a text, right? So that's the similar thing if you want to get the different types of lines, you can create different types of flowers. So this time let's try to use the star as another example. Yeah, so this here is a star. If we go to the object, we go to repeat radio, and we can increase the instance of the radio. Yes, and you go to the object, you expand it, Command C, Command F, copy paste to the front, and you're holding Option Shift and decrease it towards the center. So you copy and paste another one and put it into the center. Select everything, object, blend, and make. Oh, you will see this is another types of flowers, right? It's different as the first one. Yes, then you may add a gradient color to it. Okay, so this is the one as same as this one, but you can always go and double click to change them into a different color you like. Yeah, and here you can always drag the slide bar to change the proportion of each color, and you can click to change the type of the blend. Just all of these are based on your own creative preference, right? Yeah, so now let's create another text. Okay, so this is another text. Go into object, expand, click OK. Then we place it here, select everything, right click, make clipping mask. So this is another edge filled with exactly totally the different lines inside it. Yeah, so if you want to create some fancy lines, integrate some fancy elements, fancy lines into the text, you may create a fancy pattern with lines first, then using the clipping mask tool to create those text. Yeah, so this is the first way we can create some fancy text. Okay, the second way is I'm going to type something first. Yeah, so let's use this text. So first thing is we're gonna expand it because we are going to change the text, right? Modify the lines, the shapes of the text. So right now, if you cannot change anything of it. So if we make sure you're on the selection tool, select the text, object, expand. Okay, so now if you go to the direct selection tool, you can see the text, the anchor point of the text. You can drag or do anything you want, right? So what I want to do is select all of it, and I will click on the swipe, view, and stroke. You see the difference? It turns into the outline mode of the text. Then we're going to use So you may see the pen tool first, but you will right click and you will select add anchor point tool. So if you zoom in, you're gonna select the small line of the C, click it and delete. That means you delete this path. Click it and delete. We're going to the arrow, click it and delete. So click it and delete. Right. So what we are going to do is we are going to use the blend tool, blend both paths. Use the blend tool, blend the both paths. The two paths, which means the text you choose or the vocabulary you choose, each letter included in it, they should have the two paths like this, so that they could be blended together. They shouldn't be very complicated, right? So they couldn't be blended in a proper way. So just choose some text, some fonts like this, that you can blend them. Yeah, so let's talk about how to blend them. So first of all, now everything is still together. Right click and we will go into ungroup, which means each letter is separate. So now I want to make all the paths, they should all be separate. Right click and release compound path. Second one, right click, release compound path. Third one, right click, release compound path. The last one, right click, release compound path. Now you can see all the paths, they are separate from each other, right? So this way I'm going to select the C object, blend options. So 15 is too much because we only got a little distance between them. So I'm going to put 5. Okay, object blend make. Oh, you see they are blended with lines. Second one, object blend make. So we don't have to go to the blend options every time. We'll just blend make. So directly click it. Object blend make. You see now you got blended lines of all the text, which is interesting, right? So yeah, so the same thing as you can apply with a gradient color for them. Or if it's not, what it means that you will need to object and expand them. Yes. So whenever you want to do an action but you found you can't, you can always try to go to object and expand it. Then to try. Okay, now you can see it works. You got the blended lines on the path, but we have to turn off the fill color because we don't need it, right? So you can also use the eyedropper tool. If you really like these blended lines, you can just click on them, so the same gradient will be applied on the text as well. Yeah, so we can increase the width stroke like this. Yeah, so also they could be in different gradient color. Sorry, click on it, go to the gradient panel. So yeah, so each text you can change them into gradient, change the gradient for each one of them. Like this, right? Yeah, so that's another way we can create some fancy lines inside the text, which you can use in the posters. So the third way we're going to introduce is, I'm going to create another text. Yeah, the same thing is we're going to expand it first because we want to make changes on it. Yeah, so then I will need to swipe fill and stroke. We need this, right? So right now, if you go to the scissors tool, click on it and zoom in. Click on we will cut the anchor point here. So you see they are cutted. we're just going to cut them into separate paths. Okay, let's do it on the O anchor point. Click here, cut here, also here, 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 here. So sometimes you will find you don't even need to see the anchor point. You can just click on the path. Here, here. Yeah. Cut it here, 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 cut it here. Yeah, so now, but there seems like they are all still together. Right click on group. First one, right click, release compound path. So now you can see, because you already cut them, now they are changed into the separate path. Yeah, so this one, right click, release compound path. You can see the all has been separated into different paths. Third one, right click, release compound path. Last one, right click, release compound path. So all of the paths could be changed in the way you want. So let's select the C. So you can change those paths one by one, right? So go to the stroke, you can add a dash line, you can add an arrow. Here for this one, you can change uniform it in another way. You can use the width tool to add a width. So yes, for all, you can try everything we already learned in previous class to modify those lines. For the O, you see they are separate. So if you select everything, you can stroke and you can change them together. Give them a arrow. You got some fancy things like this. Select the other O, you will go to you can go to the brush library again. So go just select something standard. Yes, so if you here, if you drag it, apply the triangle. Wow, this is something really fancy. So yeah, so you can try each one of those brush located under the brush library, apply them to the path, to the separate path. Yeah, so you can also just change them one by one, right, based on your own creativity. Yeah, just do anything you want for them. Oh yes, you can use the curvature tool, right? Curvature tool. Yeah, so that's another way you can change the form of the text into some really fancy things. Yes, and you can apply a color, right? It's the same thing as what we did. Gradient color. Yes, you can go and change the color over here. Yeah, so this one is not working, so you may go to object and expand appearance and add a, okay, it needs to be fill, so you can fill it and deselect the outline. Yeah. This one is working. Yeah, so whenever you do something that is not working, you may always go to object and expand to try if it works or not. Yes, so that's the third thing we learned, how to modify the text. Yeah, so the next thing which would be really interesting is you can let's create a fancy decorative line. So whatever you are creating, so I'm going to give an example. Yeah, so that's something like, okay, but first I'm going to fill it with black here, increase the width. I'm going to option shift another one, option shift another one, option shift another one. I'm going to increase. We're creating something long, right? So go to the rectangle. Yeah, so you don't need to do exactly with me. I'm just creating a fancy line, right? So it could be any form. Yeah, and I'm randomly adding some stars inside. Yeah, so right now, I got this some fancy elements. So we go to the brushes. So what I'm creating is I'm creating a new brush, right? So this is my customer brush. So I click and drag it into the brush panel and I select this one, art brush. Make sure it's this one, okay? I'm going to, you can give it a name like star or anything related to your creation. Then let's select OK. Then you see in the brush panel, we got a customer brush created by you. In this way, if we going to put it here, so if we use the brush paint tool, we create something by using, you can create something based on the by using the brush you created by your own. Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. So let's type another words here. So the same thing is object expand, okay, and we switch into the stroke, and if we apply the customer brush on our outline path, so it's too huge, right? So we'll decrease the size of the stroke. Okay, so if we can also delete, enter a smaller number, 0.1, and hit return. Oh, so that looks much better. Yeah, so you can always try create different type of brush and try how it looks like when it applied to your text or to your any other elements you created. Yeah, so that's another way we can create some fancy text into our design. So the last thing we're gonna talk about is to create a 3D spiral. Yes, so let's start with a line first. Create the stroke. We are going to create a blend line. Select everything. We go to the object, blend options. I think 5 or 6 would be okay. And object, blend, make. Yeah, that's fine. So we will open the symbols. So we are this is our customized symbols. So we can drag it into this table. So yes, it could be called new symbol or any. I'm going to call it lines. Just rename it. I'm going to click OK. Just OK. You see your customized symbol is located here. Yes, so I'm going to show you what does usually the symbol could do. So let's first create an ellipse. Fill with color this time. We do not select the outline, right? So we use the scissors tool and cut the two anchor points down and below. And we delete the half of them. We select this one. We go to Effect, 3D and Materials. We go to the Classic and we revolve it. So there are 3 steps: 3D Materials, 3D Classic, Revolve Classic. Yeah. So from here we select Map Art. Then we select Invisible Geometry. So you can see here is no color over here, but if you go to the sign here, so here is how you're using symbols. So from the symbols, if you click lines and skew to fit, so the lines you created are stick into the geometry shape here. Stick at the surface. So that's how you create a 3D spiral. Right? Yeah. So choose your customized. Yeah. So this is something other people created, but if you choose your own, yeah, it would be look like this. So you can create different types of lines and just customize them as the new symbols and stick into the geometric shape onto the surface of geometric shapes. Okay, and click on OK. Yeah. So you can go to Object and expand appearance. Object. Expand again. So sometimes you may need to expand the second time. Yeah, so now if you are using the direct selection tool, you can select each one of the spiral lines here. So if I select the front line, I hold down Shift key. You can select those lines and you can apply with a color, right? A blended color. Yeah. So you can select the back one, hold on the Shift key. Yeah. So hold on the Shift key, then you can select multiple elements togetherly. Yeah, so if this one is not selected, just select it. Yeah, so this is how you may create a 3D spiral line. Yeah, so you can always use the map art to do something else. Yeah, so let's see if it's a square. Yes, if it's a square, okay, I'm going to apply with some other colors. Yes, and I go to the Effect, 3D and the Materials, and 3D Classic, and rotate. Sorry, it's Effect, 3D Materials, Classic. Sorry, it's Revolve. Right, so you got the 3D geometric shape and map art and invisible geometry. Then you see you got 3 sides. Yes, for the third side, if you apply lines, this is another types of spiral lines you may get. Always click on Scale to Fit. Yeah, so if this is the second side, apply a symbol, Scale to Fit, and the third side, no, we have the first side, also the lines, Scale to Fit, right? You can also try some other symbol. Yeah, so they could be a same piece of art could be applied with different types of the symbol. Yeah, the second one, it could be other types of symbol. Yeah, so the symbols is just for use for the map art. You can stick it on different surface of geometric shape. Yeah, so these are something you can use later in your design too. Yeah, so this is what you will get. Yeah, so these are some skills you may use in the poster design. So yeah, so let's try to export this file into PDF, so which are also required for our poster design. Go to the file, save as, save on anywhere you want. Go to Illustrator and PDF, give it a name. We call it probably we select we select something related to our class. You may create a folder for our class, right? We just name it as, for example, poster, and save. Yes, and it could be high quality print and save PDF. Yeah, so then we'll go to find the folders we just used. We can search it. Yeah, so this is our files. So here is what we just saved. It's a poster, right? Double click. Yeah, so then you see this is your PDF file. Yeah, so this is the PDF version of the poster you may need to upload on Canvas. Yeah. So that's the tutorials for today.